But Alana, as I said, will be here, so do drop her a line if you want to set up a meeting. She is, I think, one of the best people I know when it comes to this real art of how you target promotions to clients, and then particularly client relation management, and then getting serious about using data to drive a business. Okay, so our session on Airbnb and Uber are going to shift tomorrow to measure in the time. So they'll be presenting them tomorrow as part of the business session tomorrow, because we wanted to make the fact that literally just arrived from the Mara, the guys who have been covering the migration live via Periscope. This, for us, has been great to see, because this literally was spawned basically at last year's event. Those of you who are here may remember Andre Kets, who came up from South Africa and talked about what he was doing with Africa Direct, and we talked about the whole idea of Code Tracker as a concept at that point. He got together with the guys from Governor's Camp at our conference last year, and we're now so happy to see this amazing project come out of this with the support of Make It Kenya, who have actually come in and made this happen. So Make It Kenya will be talking tomorrow morning about their campaigns. This has been a core of what they've achieved in the last week. And if anyone followed this, who's followed this on Periscope over the last few days? On Twitter, who actually managed to take part in this? So Andre's here with us, with Carol, one of his photographers. They've literally just arrived in from Amara. He's going to take us through their experience and show us what they did and what their plans are for the future. So please welcome Andre and Carol.
Thanks, Damien. It's really great to be here. A bit of a shell shock after being in Amara for a week. All through the week, Carl has been using this camera, and I've been using the little cell phone over there to broadcast. So today we get to swap. So this is Carl, actually I guess the Safari side of Herd Tracker, whereas I'm the tech side of Herd Tracker, and coming together we've managed to build something that's brought a lot of attention to East Africa. And and before I get started, I must say that none of this would have been possible without Make It Kenya. The team from Graydon, the PR agency that sort of got behind us and believed in the idea, really came to the party to make it happen. I still owe Victoria a few beers for all the requests and all the help and all the great work her team has done.
Champagne, not beer.
we were talking Tusker, so anyway, right, I'm going to put this down and get started. I think Carl...
don't drop it.
Oh, up to you how you want to move around, film. This is, I think, one of the first times doing that side of the camera, so...
no idea what's happening.
At the end of this, we will have some Q&A if anyone's got questions, and then Carl will come up, you know, be happy with me to answer anything you may want to know. But I'm going to kick off with a little bit of I won't say the theory, but the idea, the concept behind what we just did this week in the Mara. And it's something that we call big content. And I'm going to say something a bit contrary to what most people these days say about online marketing, is that I don't believe that social media is the answer. I'm going to get to part 2 in a second, just to I think we all agree that we want to grow our businesses, and we all know that we need to do it through online. Oh, screens are there, great. And as I said, social media on its own is not the answer. What we need to do, well, why is social media not the answer? First, it's too easy. All these tech companies, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., they make it easier and easier for everyone to post online. It's becoming more costly. In the early days, it was completely free to tweet, Facebook post, all that kind of stuff. Now, as brands, we need to pay a little bit more to get the exposure that we wanted, or we used to get in the past. When people are on social media, they're generally in browse mode, not in buy mode. I see this in the traffic numerous times a day. I don't think that person on Facebook is thinking of purchasing a holiday. And there's something I read in this article, is, if you download the slides, I'm sure David will share it with everyone, is that when you're on these social media things, it's a concept of the infinite scroll. Something I read in this article, you'll see linked at the bottom there. And that's our biggest danger, is this infinite scroll. There you can see it going off there. And another quote I like from the movie Fight Club, which I want to use here, is Tyler Durden says to his followers, he says, "You're not special, you're not a beautiful or unique snowflake. You're the same decaying organic matter as everything else." The word that stands up there to me is decaying. You are only posting stuff to social media, and it's there, it's at the top of the feed. The second later, it's gone, and someone else is putting something else in there. And this is something that we all need to be aware of. And how are we going to counter this? How are we going to get to the top of Google where people are in buy mode? That's what we're going to try and look at here. And of course, we want to be the top of social media too. And that's, I think, where this Tomorrow Live campaign is going to show us something in a second. Before we go there, what is big content? It's a term we use internally at Discover Africa, our company, about a special form of content marketing. Now, content marketing, most of us will know, is a way of telling stories, of sharing your marketing material in not so pushy way. It's not advertising, and it's distributing it so that people will engage with your content and then drive an action. That's essential to driving an action. So we're all actually doing content marketing already. I think most of us in the room are running a blog, or creating videos, or doing infographics and other kind of digital media. So it's great that we're all at this point doing some form of content marketing. The problem is, it's too easy to clone. If you're running a great blog, chances are so is your competitor. If you've got great videos of your large hotel, probably your competitors do too. So, sure, social media isn't enough. Doing normal content marketing isn't enough. What do we need to do? And I'm going to try and spell it out for you here, and then I'm going to show you one example, and we're going to jump to the Tomorrow Live campaign to see how it all fits together. Okay. A big content piece is a digital asset that no one has done before. It's hard to copy. It's share-worthy. And I'm not saying viral, because no one plans viral. Viral happens. But it's something that's share-worthy. It lives on your website. Not on someone else's site, it lives on your website. It normally requires a big effort, a big content piece. And it results in a big gap between you and your competitors. And I think that's what everyone here in the room wants. You want a gap between you and your competitors. So if I'm talking about big content, the same piece that lives in your sites, am I telling you to scrap all your social media? No. There's a way they work together, and I'm going to walk you through that. Create that main asset that lives on your site, where everything drives towards. Then do your daily, weekly, monthly, whatever blogs and normal content media work. And then have your social media push up funnel like that to your big home, the mothership where everything lives. I think we saw the mothership earlier in Daniel's presentation, the Star Trek thing. And here's one example where we at Discover Africa or Bird Tracker, we want to solve a problem. And I think the biggest problem for people traveling to East Africa, maybe I won't use the word problem, let's say challenge. People planning a holiday to East Africa, the main reason I believe is to see the migration and the related wildlife that comes along with that, big cats and all the rest. And the question that keeps coming up time and again was, where and when must we go, or where must we be to see something like this, to have this experience? So Carl came to me one day at the office and said, Andre, we need to solve this problem for people. How are we going to do it? Let's create a map. Let's plot where the herds are going to be. I said, that's great. What are we going to do? We're going to tag these wildebeest, or are we going to... I'm just going to play a little video in the background here so you can kind of get a feel of what we created. So we created an online asset that has a map where we could pin exactly where the wildebeest are. We're not tagging them. We're not following them with GPS tags. We're relying on our community of people, our lodgers, our rangers, the pilots flying over the Mara and Serengeti. They're the ones that are telling us where the wildebeest are. And because we're able to pull that into one place and distribute it through the web to absolutely anyone who's interested, we think we solved the problem. We've solved the challenge here. We didn't try and create something that sells safaris, we tried to create something that solved the problem. So I want you guys to try and think of that mindset in your business. You're in a certain area. What's the problem that needs to be solved? Don't think about selling bed nights. Solve a problem, the bed nights will come. So just want to try and tie together the visual of the pyramid I had earlier. Big content, middle content, social media below. If this is our main herd tracker application, we've got regular daily and weekly updates that come around more frequently, and then we do our social media all around that. So we create that kind of pyramid or big, medium, and small pieces. That looks something like this. See the relationship between these two? But what if we didn't have herd tracker living on our own website? What if we only took the updates from our guides and our partners and everything in the Mara and just post them straight to the social media streams? What if we only had that? That would happen. That content is here today, gone tomorrow in the infinite stream, lost into a black hole. So let's have a quick look at the results of Herd Tracker up till about a month ago, before we put together this Mara Life campaign. The good folks from Grayling at Naked Kenya. Herd Tracker was solving problems. 27 times when people asked the question, where should I go in the Mara? People were saying, just go to Herd Tracker. This is in the TripAdvisor forums, which is huge internationally by travelers. And just as a content platform, Herd Tracker in a year has increased from 150 posts to almost 600. We've got 2,000 photos on the site and over 100 videos of river crossings, of wildebeest, of engagement with cats and wildlife. And this is all from everyone in the community that's contributed to this platform. So we really do thank you guys for that. In terms of followers, we've got people in the travel industry and travelers themselves that are part of it. These numbers are a little bit outdated, pre the Mara campaign. And of course, we've seen a nice growth in traffic on our sites. When you have more traffic to your site, you get inquiries lead to sales. So the model has started working for us. We're not just solving problems and not making any money. We're solving problems, and then it comes. Okay, and this is just another example of a few people that are talking about and linking to our site. Now that's great. When people link to your site, that helps boost your rankings in Google, and that's essential. So let's jump into the more exciting stuff. Yes. The campaign we just ran in the Nassau Mara. In this case, we were telling a story over a short period of time, and the goal here, I believe, was to win over the media. We weren't here to get 1,000 tweets or 1,000 Facebook likes. We wanted to get on CNN, we wanted to get on BBC, we wanted to get Kenya back in the press with a good story, good news story, and a good news tourism story. They need it. We need it here. So the folks from Naked Kenya approached us, or we got in contact somehow, and they're running their campaign. I think we'll hear about it tomorrow from Victoria, to drive more tourism, drive more business, drive more investment into Kenya. So they took a chance with us on this. We had no idea if it was going to work or wasn't going to work. So we decided to try and do this thing. We were going to do something that had never been done before, with a digital asset, share-worthy, etc., etc. All those things I spoke about earlier. So the idea was this. We were going to use Periscope, which is a live streaming app that sits on your cell phone to broadcast wildlife and the river crossings, hopefully, if our timing was right. Herd Tracker took us to the right place at the right time, solved our problem. In fact, it was touch and go, because the river crossings are coming to an end here in the beginning of October. And we caught one of the last river crossings, larger river crossings that happened this season. So we're very pleased about that. So we created this campaign, and just so that you know, this is an example of how we did it. Pretty much, I would hold the cell phone camera. Roles would have been reversed. Carl actually knows how to use this thing. He'd shoot the wildlife way off in the distance. I'd film the back of his LCD screen, and that way we were bringing upwards of 200 people per 5 or 10 minute broadcast into the safari vehicle with us. Well, that's great. To be honest, most of those 200 people probably were bored kids at home in the US and the UK and somewhere. Maybe a handful were serious safari people. We had questions like, what do elephants eat? And Carl were answering. We had all sorts of interesting questions. But every now and then we had someone saying, hey, I was in the Mara last year. I stayed at Governor's Camp. I've been to Kitchwa Temple. And so there were real serious safari people there too, and they're going to tell their friends. But even still, those 200 people weren't our target. Our target was still to come. Our target firstly was to capture this.
Yeah. How's that?
This we broadcast.
Let's better show us some parts, please.
Live in real time to people around the world.
This is incredible, I agree.
I think this is about a 4 or 5 minute video, so I won't bore you with it. But Carl, what crossing was this again?
Cemetery.
It's nicknamed the cemetery.
Kaburi.
Kaburi, that's right. Anyway, after we showed this.
There's a clock.
Oh, there was a clock coming, sorry guys. So that was one example of broadcast we did. Another broadcast we did was with Moses, one of the guys from, I can't remember which lodge. Anyway, he took us on the game drive and showed us some lions and whatnot. We broadcast that live.
Salas.
Salas, that's right, that's right. We showed people what it's like to be on safari. We had interviews with guides early in the morning before we left. This is Jackson from and beyond's Kitchwa Temple. We spent the last 3 days with this young man, and he was incredible. He was selling Kenya for everyone here in the room. He was phenomenal. And of course, we showcased the meals, the food, we went behind into the kitchen. For those of you who didn't sign up, anyway, we showcased the safari experience. The river crossing with the hook, and the hook worked because these guys picked up on it. And they were there to film us. The media just wants something new, something fresh. If we said, oh, we're going on safari, we'll send you some photos, we were live web broadcasting for the first time. This is the world first to take people on safari and do this. I'm telling you by now, there's probably already 10 other companies doing this. We've seen hot air balloon guys doing it. We've seen guys in Big Falls doing it in the last 3 days. We're taking people on safari now. Guys, get behind us. Follow this. You should be using Periscope to your advantage too. And we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. We didn't know if it would work. We got, sorry to tell you this now, Victoria, but we got the Make It Kenya campaign to put a large sum of money on for satellite internet, which goes for $38 per minute. And we bought about 2 to 3 hours worth of broadcasting time. Only about half of that was actually workable for us because it takes a minute or two to connect, a minute or two to disconnect. And we didn't know before we left if it was going to be fast enough out here tomorrow. But thank God it worked. And we got those pictures out to the world. So, you know, sometimes you also got to have a bit of guts and got to take a chance for these things to work. So that's also part of the story. Oh, one of my favorite things was yesterday, 24 hours ago to the minute, we saw a young cheetah mother with 4 young adult cubs hunting for, not the first time, but one of the first times that these young cubs were hunting themselves without the mother's assistance. In fact, she had a bit of a limp. And that was all part of Big Cat Sunday. We woke up to the sunrise. Firstly, we saw our guide Jackson took us to a beautiful male leopard. We saw some fantastic members of the Marsh Tribe. And then we saw this hunt. It was my first time on a safari with a real kill and hunt happening. And, you know, we weren't able to bring every single moment to people live because when you're bouncing around in a safari vehicle, the satellite doesn't work. You need to be stationary.
Then we ran out of data.
And we ran out of data. That $38 a minute goes very quickly. But we broadcast, we feel quite enough. And of course, it's all about getting the press involved, getting the press on it, because we'll see the numbers now, we'll see the results of what we managed to achieve. This morning I woke up at the table with this view in front of me. I opted not to get up at 5 a.m. and go on the game drive, because we've got to show people not just the wildlife, but the lodge experience too. I think I had about 150 people while I was lying in bed with this view in front of me join me. And they could see what it was like to open the safari equipment, walk outside, look out on the plains, turn around, see the double bed, the vanity, the National Geographic that I might see laid out next to the bedside table. It was like these people were in there with me. I'm not saying that's going to drive a sale tomorrow, but it's going to help it for a time. And we'll see in a second where this goes. Because Periscope, presently, is a live streaming app. And I saw very recently they wouldn't even archive your video after the fact. Once the broadcast is over, it's done. Now this video will be there for 24 hours. After that, it's gone. So think about that infinite scroll. Think about that black hole. Is this good enough? Can we just have these videos be available for people for 24 hours? I don't think so. So what we're doing, and what we have been doing all week long, when we come back from the lodge, don't think it's all fun and games and we're chilling by the poolside. We get back from our game drive at 7, 8 at night. And then we start downloading the videos, we upload them to YouTube, we tag them, we label them, we make sure we mention all our sponsors, we start sharing it on social media. We would go to bed after 12 months, nights waking up at 5 a.m. every morning. So we've been working. It was great fun, I'm not complaining. We were working hard. And the point is that we would not allow this to happen. We built a site that could hold all of these videos over a 1-week period. And I think I put a little, in fact, this is the landing page of the Mara Life site, which all the content we created was pushing back to here, so that people could see and vividly experience what it's like to be out in the Mara. It's not going to be gone in 24 hours. It's not going to be gone in the infinite scroll. This is going to live forever. People are going to find us. And when people see this, they're going to see a 7-day safari with various experiences, some wildlife, some interviews with guides, some interviews with chefs, looking at the food, all the stuff that all the other people at this conference are talking about. Don't show an empty hotel room. My bed was ruffled and messy that morning, and people saw it. A bet that's selected is a real bet. A meal that's being eaten by someone is for real. These are all the videos we created. Over 57 of them. We slipped 2 or 3 more to do, Carl, actually. We need to wrap up this evening. Nevertheless, this is an experience which people, before they travel, can now see what it's going to be like. And all these photos, by the way, is by Stuart Price, phenomenal photographer and all-round great guy to spend having a week on safari. He was with us on behalf of Naked Kenya, capturing all these great moments with us. So I think this content pyramid is pretty much one of the things I want to emboss on your minds when I leave here today, whenever I leave here today. And we'll quick look at the early results for this campaign. I'm sure Victoria and all the other people in the room agree that the results are yet to come. We want to get Kenya back on the tourism map with a good news story. But I'm going to share some of the things that we have already that I can tell you. My team back at the office have quickly filled in some of the gaps and expressed or shown what we've got. We created 57 videos in 7 days. Originally we said we were going to try to do 2 or 3 videos a day. This is, I think, 8 or 9 videos a day we managed to get right. So we're pretty chuffed about that. Stuart has got a huge catalogue of what I see as potentially award-winning photography. Press are going to lap it up. They've been putting it through to EPA and all the media channels. The requests are endless. We've been posting like crazy on social media, all positive news around Kenya, and we've made some great relationships with lodges and people and conservancies and rangers and I don't know who else. We've been busy all week and everyone's got this positive energy around Kenya and what we could do. This might be the tipping point. This might be the turnaround. 2016 is going to be the year to come. From a community perspective, I'm not really into vanity metrics like number of followers and whatever, but it's the starting point for more sharing and more exposure and more growth. So a week ago we had 1,600 followers on Twitter, now we've got 2,400. It's a great growth in a week. We normally have 5 or 10 extra people a day. We were getting 100 people a day. Periscope, we went from 1 follower, I think it was me when I took that stat, me following her tracker, to over 1,700 people around the world. Okay. That means they were interested. Maybe 10% of that want to come on Safari. Maybe 50%, I don't know. And our email newsletters and subscribers also grew nicely. Engagement, I don't often know these engagement stats and what they all mean in social media. My social media guys do. But we had 11,000 people engaged with the content on Facebook. 11,000 people liking, sharing, whatever it is. We had lots of Twitter engagement. 168,000 impressions. 2.4% of those people actually did something with it. And I think that's a high engagement rate stat. Jackie, would you... What's the normal industry for engagement of content? 1 to 3%. Okay, so we're in there. Great. We're at the high end of the 1 to 3%. Almost 2,000 people visiting our site. That's lovely. And retweets and all the rest. Traffic to our site. The top graph you see there is April, when we started her tracker, through to just recently, July, which is, peak comes through the migration season. And then I took that stat, I think, 2 weeks ago, that graph 2 weeks ago. Now below is exactly the same timelines, but it shows the spike we got over the last week in traffic to our site. People interested in this. I mean, that's what the chart's there. That's 10,000 people a day coming to our site. I've never seen it. Okay, it's going to drop off as the media, the pipe dies, and even our story in CNN and BBC is going to go down in the web's infinite scroll, and the social media infinite scroll. But at least we've got something we never had before. We've got a whole lot of exposure we didn't have. And this is the golden moment. This is the media coverage. We were on CNN's website with a story like this. Not, Obama and hotbeds of terror and all that. This is a positive story. Time magazine, time.com. Condé Nast Traveler, top luxury travel brand in the world. Discovery Channel, I believe, is interested in footage we got, and they want to run a whole bunch of stuff on their broadcast channels. And the list goes on. Telegraph Travel in the UK. There's over, I think, almost 200 different websites that wrote about us in this last 4 days or something like that. There's still a whole lot more to come. The magazines are going to write about it, the newspapers are writing about it. And this is, I think, the cherry on the top. This is a CNN broadcast.
Hidden in long savanna grass, a lioness stalks her breakfast. Our vehicle trails behind. The workspace is a little cramped, and things here are anything but calm, quiet, or focused.
Did you tweet out already? We are not streaming yet, but we're ready to start streaming. Moving.
Going to go.
Come on. Trying to connect now to the service.
The point of this safari is that it's not just us on the ground who are able to watch.
Oh, something's going to die. Around, go away, piglets, run.
For 1 week, these men are conducting the first live stream of the Great Migration, where more than 2 million wildebeests and other animals traveled hundreds of miles across East Africa. It's called Herd Tracker. Traditional safaris can be prohibitively expensive for many, but this web app gives viewers access to safari guides they'd never have otherwise.
If you have any questions about elephants and where we are, please feel free to ask us.
Viewers can like or heart the video and comment live during streaming.
We've got a question there, Carl. What do elephants eat?
Yeah, they eat different things, grass, shrub, bushes, they love acacias.
It's a partnership with the Kenyan government to show off the country and to encourage tourism, which has been hit hard. Potential visitors have been cancelling trips due to security concerns. The aim is to entice these virtual viewers into eventually paying for the real thing.
In the bush, nothing is predictable, and in the last few minutes, we've noticed the smell of rain. The wind has really picked up, and this young pride of lionesses have suddenly become very interested in some warthog. They'd like to see picked up their scent. We're going to follow them to see just what happens.
This time she's unsuccessful, but there's no time for disappointment in this vehicle. There's video to stream, pictures to email, and tweets to send before the rain comes, or another of nature's marvels unfolds before us. Robin Creel, CNN, in Kenya's Masai Mara.
Well done.
None of this would have been able without any with all of you guys out there. Herd Tracker is a system where we're just, okay, so Carl's a safari enthusiast, I'm an enthusiast too, but I'm just a tech guy. I just know all the websites and think about ways of getting stories to people across the web. We're the plumbing. The water that's flowing through this plumbing is your stories, it's your wildlife, it's your rangers, it's your pilots, your amazing hotel rooms where these people stay that makes it happen. This is a story we need to get out there, and we all need to be thinking along these lines. That's just a quick summary of some of the media coverage, but there's more to come, I'm sure of it. And while we were on this safari, Carl was explaining to me, I asked him this question, like, when the herds are gathering at the edge of the river, what makes them move? Who decides, let's go? And there's this thing called tipping points, he believes, where there's just enough of them together and enough, the weather changes, or something happens, that it reaches that tipping point, momentum, and then it shifts and goes. And I really hope that what we've done this week and tomorrow is that for Kenya. I hope this is a tipping point that will get that traction going, or get the numbers going, and the bedroom solving. So, in closing, I want to give 9 quick tips just for how you guys can do something like this for your brands, for your lodges, for your companies out here, trying to bring Kenya to the people. Number 1, understand your customers' fears, understand the challenges they face, those problems. Okay? Where do you do this? Go to TripAdvisor forums, search your destination, and look at all the what, where, and why, and how questions that come up. As soon as you see a whole bunch of them that start looking quite similar, there's a problem that has not been solved yet. Do it. That's how you do it. It's not hard, that's how we do Herd Tracker. People keep saying, where and when? Am I going to miss? Where should I go to see the migration? It's not rocket science. Just find out what that question is. Then choose that question. Sometimes there's more than one. Don't try and solve all the problems at once. Find that one problem and do it well. Do it really well. Know what's out there. Before we built Herd Tracker, we were just going to do this sort of heat map thing that showed month by month where to go. And we actually built it already. We'd spent about 3 or 4 weeks with our dev team doing that. And found out that actually there's about 4 or 5 websites out there with that exact same thing. There was videos explaining the migratory routes and all that, so we have to do it differently. So know what's out there, so that you don't end up just being the same thing. You do something new. Befriend a geek. That's essential. You can't pay a web company to do this. Luckily, we have a good geek in-house, that's me. And we've got a good Safari man, so it really works. But if you don't have a geek in-house, find one you can trust, find one you can work with. It's absolutely essential. It's the number one. There's a lot of good tips here, but this is essential. Then you've got to get down and build it. So many people have great ideas, but never do anything about it. Build it. Actually, build it on your own platform. Don't just host it on the social media and everything else out there. Do it for yourself. Create your content pyramid. The big thing, the small things you can do every day. They don't take a lot of time and effort, but just add up to the big thing. Of course, do your social media well. There's lots of experts in the room who can tell you about that, not me. And of course, engage the press, which was vital in this. And here I just want to give a hat tip to Victoria and her team at Grain. They were phenomenal, in getting this Mara Live story to the press. They had, at midnight Australia time, they put the press release out to us. At midnight Hong Kong, at midnight India, at midnight Europe, at midnight USA, East Coast and West Coast. They had people pushing the story out. Now, they could have done that same process saying, hey, make it Kenya, come on holiday. But luckily they added something different to work with. But you have to engage the press, whether it's yourselves or with a great agency, either way. And of course, nurture and thank your partners. That's partly what I'm up here for, to say thank you to everyone that liked and shared and followed and have been providing the content, that water that flows through our plumbing. And just to illustrate that point, if anyone was there last year, you'll probably remember this video, but it's worth showing again. I think I've still got 3 minutes on my side, and this is the last thing I want to share about. Just nurturing and thanking the people that help you get these things going.
So ladies and gentlemen, at TED we talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement. So let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons from it. First, of course you know, a leader needs the guts to stand out and be ridiculed. But what he's doing is so easy to follow. So here's his first follower with a crucial role. He's going to show everyone else how to follow. Now notice that the leader embraces him as an equal. So now it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Now there he is calling to his friends. Now if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader. And here comes the second follower. Now it's not a lone nut, it's not 2 nuts, 3 is a crowd, and the crowd is news. So a movement must be public. It's important to show not just the leader, but the followers, because you find that new followers emulate the followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, and immediately after, 3 more people. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. So, notice that as more people join in, it's less risky. So those that were sitting on the fence before now have no reason not to. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, but they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. So, over the next minute, you'll see all of the those that prefer to stick with the crowd, because eventually they would be ridiculed for not joining in. And that's how you make a movement. But let's recap some lessons from this. So, first, if you are the type, like the shirtless dancing guy, that is standing alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals. So it's clearly about the movement, not you. Okay, but we might have missed the real lesson here. The biggest lesson, if you noticed, did you catch it? Is that leadership is over-glorified. That yes, it was the shirtless guy who was first, and he'll get all the credit, but it was really the first follower that transformed the lone nut into a leader. So if we're told that we should all be leaders, that would be really ineffective. If you really care about starting a movement, have the courage to follow and show others how to follow. And when you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first one to stand up and join in. And what a perfect place to do that at TED. Thanks.
How do I stop this thing?
So that's really my parting message, is that get behind the guys at Make It Kenya, get behind each other's initiatives. Together, Kenya's going to recover and have a great tourism future. Avoid this happening. just being in social media and not creating your own awesome content. Create that kind of space. Think of your big content pyramid. Think about how you're going to do that for your brands and your destinations. There's a whole lot of great reading there. I'll share this slide deck with you guys. And yeah, we'd love if you got behind Herd Tracker and Herd Tracker Live. This is just the start. This is the beginning of the movie. This is the tipping point. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.